Hey everybody, I'm live here today with Tony. I didn't feel like I needed to do a big introduction for Tony. You know Tony. Hello, Tony.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's going on, Emma? I didn't know
Lots,
this was going to be a live show. There's a whole audience and everything out there.
lots of pressure for us in the comments. People saying this is going to be the best live stream
The
ever.
best live stream ever.
We've done a couple together, haven't we? But things are, I mean, I can't keep up with where you've been since the last time we spoke. So
Can I pick a bone with you straight off? Can we just get into it a little bit?
Yep.
So I do so much appreciate the way that you handle your YouTube business, but I noticed that on your YouTube page you feature your past live streams, and I notice that you sort them by most viewed.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that this is a choice that you've made. I don't know if people know this. This is a choice that Emma's made, and I am currently in third position, and I take umbrage with that. Go watch these. I need to be ahead of Don, and I need to be ahead of Gary. It's
is it Gary the second one? I
think
John
Gary's first. I think Gary's first. It might be.
Oh, we can do that on this one. I think the other ones. It was a while ago. We weren't all cruising then, and we've done a lot of things since our last live stream.
I'm bringing it back. I'm cool. We're cool now. Okay, now that I've got that out of the way, I think we're good. Are we good?
We're good. We're good. Right, I thought you were second.
I'm not. I'm not. Okay, we're good.
We're good. We're good. So where have you been?
I just want to say that,
Tony.
Where have I been? So I started cruising back in July or June. I can't remember which one it was, but I was on the very first cruise out of North America. I had to fly from Florida down to the Bahamas to get on that cruise, Venture of the Seas. And then after that, and I don't remember the months, shortly after that, I did the Celebrity Edge. All these cruises are to the Caribbean except for one. After that, I did the Celebrity Edge. And then the whole Delta variant hit, which kind of changed everybody's cruise restart over here in the U.S. We were going along swimmingly, and Delta messed us up. So I was on the Edge, and then right after the Edge, I was on the MSC Meraviglia. And then after that, I took a few weeks off and went to Alaska for the first time. I flew to Seattle, went to Alaska for the first time with Dawn on the Majestic Princess. And then when I came back from that, we finally got Jenny on a cruise. Jenny and I went on the Mariner of the Seas. And then just last week, I don't even think I've been home a week. It'll be a week tomorrow. I just got off the Carnival Mardi Gras for our first group cruise after the big shutdown. So it's been a lot of cruising in a compact time, but all of it to the Caribbean except for my first trip to Alaska, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. I remember looking at you and Don on that one, like filled with envy, but it looked so good.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks awesome. You've been so busy, and I mean, me too. And it was interesting for me, looking at everyone's stuff from Mardi Gras when I was on Iona, and it's like the British kind of sister version of Mardi Gras. Yeah. So I kind of recognize some things, but it is totally different. I would like to get you over here for one of our big British cruise ships.
Yeah, I was already thinking about it. I watched your video on Iona, and I was filled with dread. Like, I have to get some sort of conversion plug because there's no AC outlets there, and I'm like, okay, I'm sure I can get some sort of converter plug so that I can use my stuff. But that was the first thing I'd like. I want to go on Iona, and then we got to that part in your review, and I'm like, what would I do?
Well,
I don't know what I would do.
It's the other way for us all the time. Like every time I go on a cruise, I assume I have to take the US socket. So it's so good when I see the UK ones there.
Yeah.
But yeah, not many cruise ships, even the British ones, they normally have US sockets. That's
Iona
interesting.
Looked nice. It looked really nice.
Oh, we have Always Be Booked Cruise podcast in here. We have not spoken for a while. We need to do another podcast. But thank you so much.
I haven't talked to Tommy in forever either. This guy's been cruising. We gotta figure out, and it looks like he's been having a good time. What's up, Tommy?
Thank you for your super chat. Yeah, we should definitely chat again. Like things have been, I don't know. It feels like everything was all pushed back and it all just happened at once. At least for me, I've done a lot of cruises within the last couple of months. I did my Disney cruise. I've cruised with Celebrity, Marella, and P&O, all in very, very quick succession.
And your return to Virgin Voyages, that was a big deal too.
Yeah, that and the Disney cruises for me were the more experimental kind of cruises, and they were both great. Like I had a good time, and now I know. We have got so many people saying hello to us in the chat. I'm sure loads of Loads of names you recognize. It's nice to see everyone back again. If I don't see your comment, I'm not ignoring it. The comments just go incredibly fast. If you can start your question with capital letters question, makes it easier for me to pick out what is a question. Hello to the cruise boys who are in here, and Paul and Carol loves to travel. Loads of you guys in here. Welsh Cruiser, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Lots of nice messages. One that says that Emma is sexy and Tony isn't. So sorry about that, Tony.
That's okay. I'm not going for sexy. I'm an old man, so I feel I'll let you have all of that.
Two of my favorite vloggers. Awesome. Yes, thank you so much to all of my moderators who are in the chat. I would not be brave enough to do live streams without moderators. Tony, did you see they're getting rid of the down thumb button on YouTube?
Yeah, like, you know, I don't know how I feel about it, right? So I don't look at it, you know, they changed it for us on the back end anyways, where we don't really see the thumbs down. But now if you go to the public viewing, you can't really see the, I feel sad because like I always try to gauge how many, you know, dissatisfied people that they are. And then I always try to work out, are they dissatisfied or are they just, you know,
disagree,
just thumbs down kind of people? I don't know.
The only one I'm going to miss is every time I schedule a live stream, I normally get a down thumb before I've even gone live.
That
and
always
I'm
happens.
What is that person going to do? They've clearly been like, I guess, waiting. So we'll have to give them something else to do. But yes, Tommy says Tony is sexy. Who are you kidding?
That's right. I mean, you know, Tommy knows, but you know, thank you, Tommy. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Dylan, for my super chat, which is for Coffee and Dreamies. Thank you very much. Hudson is off. He did come to see Tony before the live stream, but he has gone off.
I feel like every time I'm here, I do have to make the pronouncement that I love Hudson.
Again,
he's a very valid cat, and I'm digging it. I'm digging it.
Brilliant question from you.
Oh, that wasn't me. I don't think it was. Is that me? I feel embarrassed now.
Oh my goodness. So many comments. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm going to try and answer as many questions as I can. But I don't even know where to begin. Where do we begin with all these questions? Goodness, I do not know. But thank you so much. Paul and Carol, are they getting rid of the thumbs up too? No, it's just the down thumb. They don't want people getting sad, I think.
I hope everybody's hit the thumbs up button because that's like when you go live, you have this very small window to trigger the robots that we're live. So hit the thumbs up, everybody. Help us out.
Please do that. We have a question which is definitely for you because I haven't been to Alaska since I was 11. And it is, what is your must-do tip for a first-time Alaska cruise?
Do something outside, right? So I'm very outside adverse. I mean, that's just the way I am. I like to be on the ship. I like to have good food, and I like to go to shows, and I like to gamble late into the evening. Yeah. I don't really care to see the sunshine. So for me, and look, I know that I'm not the same. I know there's very adventurous people out there, but just go do something outside. Like target something that you've never seen in your life where you live. For me, it was like going whale watching. I've never had an opportunity to go whale watching anywhere. And it's funny, like I said, Alaska is a little bit like golf. Like I used to play golf back in the day, and you could have a horrible day at golf, but as long as you hit one good shot, you were like, I'm ready to play golf again. Yeah. And so to me, that's what Alaska was. Like, you know, I went there, I saw killer whales, and that was my one golf shot. Like the next day I didn't see bears, but I didn't care because I saw whales. So I would just say challenge yourself, figure out something that you can't see where you live or that you've never seen in your life. I'd never seen a bald eagle. So, I mean, it's like in the wild. Really? And so, you know, I've seen it at a zoo or something like that, but it was pretty cool. Like, so for me, I said, okay, whatever I'm normally uncomfortable doing, I'm just going to do that. And that made all the difference. It was cool.
I think I would have to do the same because, I mean, if I'm going all the way to Alaska, it would feel like a shame to not do anything. So I do want to get back to Alaska. No plans at the minute, but hopefully soon.
It was fun. I got off at every port, and I don't normally do that. So,
well, you're in Alaska. I mean, it's different when you're in the Caribbean and you've done the same ports.
Exactly.
Before, but thank you, Brenna, for our super chat. Cruising tomorrow. Very, very exciting.
Woo-hoo.
It's so nice to see everyone going off again cruising, isn't it? Because there was a time, I don't know about you, but every email I got was to do with the cruise cancellation or there was nothing happy to report, and it's nice to see everyone, even if it is hard to keep up with where everybody is going.
Tampa is actually my closest cruise port. I can get there in 45 minutes. So all of a sudden ships are back to Tampa now. So this is the kind of the next adventure for us, is to try to find something to jump on out of Tampa, because that's going to be the easiest cruise day for us. I can't wait for that. Yeah,
it must have been. I mean, your first cruise, that was way back when you had to fly to cruise, didn't you?
I drove. So we were pretty committed to driving. So the very first cruise, we lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. The cruise was in Mobile, Alabama. And I feel like it's an 18-hour drive or something like that. But part of that cruise is we wanted to see if we could get my brother and sister-in-law hooked into it. And they kind of lived in between those places. That's why we went out of Mobile, because we were like, if we make it convenient for them, maybe we can get them hooked. And so that's kind of how we ended up over there. But we drove from Charlotte to a lot of different places, and it was a pain. I mean, it really was a pain. So I'm glad now, like, the furthest cruise port in Florida is Miami. And I think we can get there in 6 hours if we want to drive, but flights are super cheap down here too. So it's a lot of options.
Yeah. John's given me some dollars for my American cruise fund. Thank you so much, John. I do keep looking at cruises. It's just, there's so many I want to do. I really want to go back to Alaska, but also I feel like I need to do like a classic Carnival cruise in the Caribbean. I haven't been to the Caribbean in so long. It's the most popular cruise destination. I know you're probably, you've been to those places a few times, but for me, especially it's so cold here all the time, it would just be so nice.
I think that's a good point. Like, if you come from a cold weather climate, those are probably the best cruises. And you've never been on a Carnival cruise, right?
I've tried. Yeah. I tried. Yeah. Never got there though.
Yeah, I think you should definitely do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great, this year's been amazing going around the UK, but I do want to feel that proper warmth that, like, I always see when you're like out walking and things, and I can't imagine just wandering around in that heat, because to me, it never gets that hot here in the UK. But it'd be nice to warm up like my actual bones. It does feel pretty cold. Oh, we have questions. Where is my mum? There's my mum. Yep, Foxy, mum's in here with my gran. Hello to my gran who's watching. I think
shout out to the whole Latisse family. Too. Where's your brother? Get your brother online. He better know.
I don't think so. I don't think my brother watches my videos. He is in my second to last video for about 3 seconds, which is as much as I could get him in there. But he was very good at, take a picture of me here, Max. Film this, Max. He didn't complain the entire time. And me and my brother in the inside cabin for a week was fine.
Awesome.
I know a lot of brothers and sisters that would fall out in an inside cabin for a week, but we did good. We did. Oh my goodness. Hello to everybody who is in here. So many nice people saying that they subscribe to both of us and enjoy both of our channels. We have a question. If freed from the shackles of documenting your journey, what cruise do you do? That is an interesting point, because now I do, I wouldn't have taken a Disney cruise if it wasn't for the I don't know if I would have tried a Virgin cruise again. But yeah, if you could pick anything, regardless, what would you do, Tony?
So my quest, and look, I really believe that I have to try all the cruise lines before I can be definitive about what cruise lines I want to go to. I'm always looking for the best entertainment. And so I was super impressed with what Carnival did with Mardi Gras. So I'd give Carnival some knocks every once in a while, like, I wish they would make a bigger investment in entertainment. And they certainly did that. But Royal has never let me down. Yeah. So Royal, Celebrity, I've had some great times, but I like entertainment on MSC. If I was picking a cruise that I didn't have to document, again, I like them all. So I mean, it's really hard. The picking the ship is not. Try to think of a good way to answer it. I don't feel shackled. I don't feel shackled by the documentation. I'm picking the ships that I want to go on, just because I do have this philosophy that I want to try everything, and I want to try as many. Like, I've never repeated a ship, and I've been on 5 different cruise lines, but I still have a couple cruise lines, like Norwegian Cruise Line. We're finally going on in December. Holland America, I would like to try. Yeah. And then I would love to get over and like try some second tier stuff like Silver Seas, and, and then I would like to get to the UK and try, P&O, that kind of stuff. So, the journey always has me going on a different ship. And then, but it really does come down to how much we want to document, how much we don't. And I don't know if you struggled the same way coming back from the pandemic. it's a whole different world from where we were, 18 months ago. Our channels, the content that we make, and then how do you approach that as you go back on the cruise ships? And I tell you what, before the shutdown, I was like, all right, I don't care who I make mad. All right, Jenny, we're getting on the camera every second. This is what we're going to do. And sometimes it was stressful. And but now going back, it's like, I don't even know if that's appropriate. And so it's been really interesting trying to fill out how much to document and how much to share, and still be good and informing about what it's like to cruise right now. So it's, I don't know if you've struggled that way at all.
I've definitely changed things. As you say, when the pandemic happened, everything flipped completely. We changed everything. And now going back to it, having kind of had more time to think, I used to do the daily videos, film everything. I didn't enjoy that because I was stressed about, I was viewing everything through the camera. I don't like it. I don't like people looking at me. I don't want to be in the buffet filming myself eating. And that's fine. And I've really changed the way that I do things that works better for me because I've had the time to kind of relax. Just going to say a quick thank you to a couple of super chats I can see ticking down, and you know how this is, this game. Thank you, Tony, so much for my super sticker. There was another one in here somewhere. James, there you are. Thank you very much, James. It's a really strange kind of game with the super stickers because you can see them on your screen about to disappear. We have a question. Thank you for my super chat. Top 3 pizza lists so far for 2021. I don't know if I have 3. I can give you my top pizza, I guess, which would be the princess pizzas that they do in Alfredo's. Perfect. Love those ones. I have had a couple of other pizzas, I think, maybe on cruises. I had a Disney room service one, which was all right. Had one on Iona, which was okay. But the princess know how to do pizza, don't they?
Interestingly, on the Alaska cruise, I had 0 pizza, and pizza is usually part of my cruising experience. So really this year I've had Carnival, MSC, and I mean, I had pizza on Celebrity too, but if I was going to rank them, I would say my favorite pizza on a cruise is Carnival makes a cheese pizza that they add prosciutto, like Italian ham, and arugula and olive oil. That's my favorite pizza. I go for that every time I go to Carnival. So Carnival's number 1 for me. MSC to me is the most like authentic type pizza. And so MSC, and then third is Royal for me. But I'm always going for that prosciutto pizza. And the problem with Carnival is they never have the pizza made, and they give you, they're super happy to help you out. But you can tell sometimes when you order that pizza, they're like, oh, just take the pepperoni, man. Like, why are you ordering the weird thing at 2:00 in the morning? Just take the pepperoni. But it's fun.
Have you tried the, I think it's charcoal on the MSC, the like black pizza? Have you tried that one?
No, I don't think I've tried that.
I think you would remember if you have.
Yeah, I also avoid the one that has a big egg on it. I don't like eggs, but sometimes they have that breakfast pizza with like a huge egg on it. I'm like, no.
I don't think I've tried that one, but the charcoal one, it tastes as you would expect a charcoal pizza to taste.
Yeah, I don't think
that. We have a question from Foxy, and he says, what is the best cruise Tony has ever been on? Please may he talk about it. Talk about it, Tony.
My favorite cruise that I've ever, so it's kind of hard to qualify that. Anytime that we get to go on a group cruise, like with the Loca fam, with people that are there to cruise with us, that's a special thing, right? Or sometimes when Jenny and I have had time alone, that's a special thing. So all those go into different buckets. But as far as pure cruising, as far as going to shows and having good food and gambling, my first, the only time I've been on an Oasis class ship is I was on the Oasis of the Seas. That still ranks number 1 as my favorite experience on a cruise ship. I mean, like I say it all the time, they've got the aqua theater on the back where you got, men and women jumping 90 feet in the air into a little swimming pool. It's the coolest show ever. They got trampoline, and that's just one aspect of their entertainment there. And so Oasis is still my favorite. That cruise, as far as just pure cruising for me, that's still my favorite cruise.
Yeah, I have got to. I have not cruised on Oasis class ever. And I think amazing. I would love it. And it looks amazing. And I've seen, occasionally you'll come across like a TikTok of someone who's filming on the way down in the aqua, divers and stuff. It's crazy. But it's as far as my personal things that I really want to do, that's very high up there for me. Very high. We have a question that says, what is the best length of time for a cruise? What is your preference? Obviously different for everyone, but
So I'm getting ready to go on a 5-day cruise on the Odyssey, but the goal for me on this cruise is just to go film the cruise ship, right? And still have a little fun, but I'm going by myself.
Hmm.
I'm jumping on Monday, and so I just want to go film it and
Yeah.
try out some of the specialty dining stuff like that. I just need a short cruise for that. I don't need a long period of that. But like when I go with Jenny and we want to hang out a bit, I think like 8 to 10 days is a good time.
Yeah.
I've never. I've had feelings before like, oh, this cruise didn't last long enough, but very rarely have I had the feeling like this cruise is lasting too long.
Yeah.
So it seems like I haven't really hit my breaking point. But interestingly enough, when I was on the Meraviglia by myself, no longer like I was on the edge with Don and we were adventure of the seas with a lot of cool people.
Hmm.
Meraviglia, I didn't really know that many people on there. And
Yeah.
so as that thing wound down, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of ready to go home. So I think a lot of it has to do with who you're cruising with. But really, when I'm with Jenny, we've never had a cruise where I'm like, oh, I'm ready for this to be over.
There is no limit. Yeah, it's kind of same for me, as I've done quite a few short cruises this year, like a short Disney cruise, the short Virgin cruise, the short MSC cruise, because it was, I need to get on and I need to try this. I need to film it. I need to work out what it is. For me, 7 days is nice. 10 days is very nice. I think the longest I've ever done is 13 days. So I've never quite done a two-weeker. We have a question from Jim, and it says, Emma, how do you find doing 2 live streams in the same day? Well, I only did a very short live stream earlier with Bill from Porthole Cruise on Instagram. Assuming the one I saw earlier was live, just popped up when I did my morning check. Yeah, I was doing that. Have a Chinese takeaway since it's been a week with no cruise food. Thank you so much, Jim. I was eating instant noodles yesterday, not even a brand. I think it was about 12p for this bowl of instant noodles. And it's lovely. I love it. But it makes me realize why I think all cruise food is amazing, because I have no interest in cooking anything really at home. I just eat to get by. But yeah, thank you, John. He's got a question. He says, what advice would you give to new cruise vloggers before they have enough content to justify Emma's course? Oh, interesting. New cruise vloggers.
You want me to take this one, or you want to take this one?
Yeah, you take this one.
Brand new cruise vlogger. So I would say this will be more in your head than anything else. Decide what you want to do. So like in the beginning, I thought as long as all the content that I made was cruise content, that it would be received in the same way by the cruising audience. And what you realize is that's not true. Some people like a talking head news show. Some people like cruise tips. Some people like a vlog. And so you can really do yourself a disservice by spreading yourself across all of those content types, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say really sit down and come up with a content strategy. The hard facts are, you can make cruise vlogs, but if people don't really know you, nobody's going to care. Like that's been the hardest part of the journey when you're if you're making vlogs as a small YouTuber, regardless if it's travel vlogs or at home vlogs, most of the time people don't care. And so that's a hard pill to swallow. And so you got to figure out a way to make a connection point with somebody. And if there's an entertaining way to do that through giving tips or through giving news or something like that, I think the hardest road is to try to build a channel as a pure lifestyle vlogger. Because again, if somebody's not hooked into your life and there's no reason to be, I think it's going to be hard.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say, anyone can do it. You just have to start, but you have to show up, and you have to show up every day. A lot. Like we've both been doing this for years and years and years, and things have changed a lot since we started. If I look back at my old content, I was looking at some of it the other day. Things have changed, but yeah, just keep showing up. You will refine things and change things, and I think that's the only way.
And once you have a content strategy, I mean, the work part of it is, and I always kind of preach this thing too, that you have to do iterative learning. So make the thing that you want to make. Don't try to make it perfect. Make it, put it out, and then evaluate it and say, okay, make a list of 2 or 3 things that you don't like. And then take one of those things and try to improve it for your next video. And if you do that for every video, then eventually you're going to be changing things until you get something that you're really pleased with. So the work part of it, like you said, it's all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, just keep at it, because I look at my, people see now that we're gaining subscribers every day, but when I look back at my subscriber graph, it's like nothing for 3 years, and then because you build up all of that back catalog. So even if, I used to get so not annoyed, but like frustrated when you've put days of your work into something and then 4 people watch it. But you're really building it up, so someone can watch it in 5 years or 2 years. People still watch some of my old random stuff. So don't get too disheartened with it, although it is an interesting game to play, I think.
Yeah, and celebrate your mini goals. Like, I remember when we first started, it's like, man, we're gonna put this video up, and if it gets 100 views, we've done it, right? And so you would celebrate the 100 views, and then you would go, okay, now what can I do to get 110 or 120 views? And so that's the other thing that I say all the time, is that, as content creators, we're all basically on the same journey. It's just some of us are further down the road. So don't compare yourself to people that are further down the road. The best advice I ever got was from our friend Don Terrace, who said, it's good to know what the competition is doing, but you're really only competing with yourself. And so if you can just better yourself every day and recognize your own milestones and your own successes, you're going to be better mentally. Like, you'll be at a better mental place about it. And you can grow without worrying what other people are doing.
Yeah, I think of it like a lazy river where everyone's got those rubber rings and they're sat in them. You're all just going down. Occasionally someone will go really fast. Someone else will come up the side. You might hang together on this live stream and go for a bit. But you've got to enjoy there's no end point. There's no, you're just having a good time. So
that's a great analogy.
Yeah, I just thought of that the other day. I don't know why, but it works. Okay. Oh my goodness. Many, many questions. Started watching Emma for cruise news, stayed for the potatoes. Thank you very much.
I think they've sold more potatoes in the UK because of your.
Do you think?
I get asked
every cruise I get back from, what is the best potato that you had on the cruise? But now I know I'm going to get asked. So when I have the best potato, I do remember. Thank you, John, for our super chat. He says, how is the quality of Wi-Fi on cruises? That is a spectrum. I've had some really good ones and some really bad ones. On my last cruise, I paid for like a browse package where you could use your emails and social media. I think that's the only thing I would ever go for. I'm not paying 5 times as much for the streaming package because it can be very, very frustrating. So when I was on Iona, if someone would send me a video, it just wouldn't load, and I would just wait till we were in port and I would load the video. Sometimes it's good though. Princess seemed to have it worked out in some places. But yeah, I mean, you do live streams. Like, I've seen you wander through ships sometimes on the internet. So sometimes it's all right.
Right. So for me, I always buy as a daily uploader, I always buy the most expensive package, right? As part of something that I have to do. It's hit or miss. Like when I was on Celebrity, the fastest package was no better than the slowest package. And they were very forthcoming about it when I went to say, hey, this doesn't seem any faster. And they're like, yeah, it's not any faster. This is the best. And we can, refund you or whatever. But I've been on, when you're working on the cruise like that, like, you quickly understand what the internet's like. And so you develop a cadence. So if I know it's going to take 6 hours to upload a 15-minute video, then I'll make sure that I do that at night. But when I was on the Mardi Gras, their internet was really good. Brand new ship, brand new internet. And I could upload a 15-minute video in less than a half hour. So that changed the whole way that I approached it. But yeah, I do like to do the live streams. A lot of time I'll do a sail away live stream on just the cellular network from the port. And then, but if the internet's good, I also like to do it from the ship sometimes. So, but yeah, I'm always overpaying for internet. So I think like this cruise that's coming up, and I normally get the 2-device package. So this cruise coming up 5 days on the Odyssey. The 2-device package for 5 days, like $180. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to see if I can just get by with 1 device, maybe do my uploads at night. And that's still $90. So it's a lot more expensive than just the browse package for almost of those.
Yeah, that's one of the things that, talking about changing things on YouTube, that I just know now I will just schedule a video, because mine are not, yours are breaking news that needs to happen on that day. Like mine don't need to do that. So I go into it thinking, I spend all of my time updating my Instagram story, to be quite honest with you, and answering people's questions. But I paid, it was £10 a day for the P&O one. It worked fine. It was all right.
Yeah,
I think it depends where you are, though, because everyone cruising around the UK, we've not had great signal. Hudson's cat food feed is going off because we've changed our clocks, and now I have forgotten that it is between this hour. So sorry, but it does mean that you may see Hudson soon. We have a question from Jason, and it says, how big do you think cruise ships can get? Sky's the limit, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they keep engineering them bigger and bigger. And so, well, I mean, at some point, ports are not going to be able to accommodate them, right? So I'm assuming that as they're doing these designs, they're trying to figure out where they can, so like these, the XL class for Carnival, there's places you just can't go. Like there's bridge bound ports in the US, like Tampa and, Charleston, South Carolina, Mobile. They're just not going to be able to get big ships in there. But, the interesting thing to me, and I thought about this the other day, there was a comment on one of my videos. I asked the question, do we need another mega ship?
Yeah.
And somebody's like, no, they're horrible for the environment. And I'm thinking, from an environmental perspective, one big ship that holds 6,000 people, probably better environmentally than 3 ships that hold 2,000 people. Oh. And so I think they will continue to do that because they're also, these are businesses that are smart, right? They want to be profitable. They want to be in business for a long time. They know that people are mad at them about their environmental footprint. And so whether through benevolence or for protection of profit or whatever like that, they're working on things like, LNG fuel and lower emissions. I think CLIA came out and said by 2028 that they would have a zero emission. I don't know what it is. I didn't really cover it, but I did see that article the other day. And so it's an interesting thing, like, as a business that is constantly scrutinized by the public, they have a very good handle on what their problems are. And so I think they'll continue to build ships as big as possible. I think they find a good profitability in that. But then they'll also try to balance out what that means from an environmental perspective. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I don't think you'll ever have a scenario where you only have big ships because there's enough of a customer base that wants small and medium. So I don't think people need to worry about that. But you do see folks get worried about it sometimes.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've been on Mardi Gras. I was on Iona. They're some of the, the best tech in the cruise industry with their power and everything. And I mean, it is kind of the reason that the cruises on Iona, at least, are so cheap is because there's so many people on those cruises. They can, economies of scale. I see why the cruise lines like to make their bigger cruise ships. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of people prefer the smaller ones. Joe has said, Tony and Emma, you two are my favorite cruise creators. Yes, thank you very much, Joe. I like the
thank you, Joe.
Yeah. Have you compared cabin sizes between Iona and Mardi Gras? I haven't. I think probably the same. It felt like a little bit thinner than kind of the other ones I've had, but generally speaking, there's not much variety within these little boxes. I compared the other day like shipping containers and cruise ship cabins. Some people really didn't like that comparison. They're like, you cannot compare these two things. Look at them like side by side when they're made.
Well, especially the footage that you included there where they were sliding the cabins into the cruise ship. That was pretty interesting.
It's really cool how they do that because I went to see MSC Bellissima in the shipyard before she had her cabins in there. So you would go to the cabin deck and it would just be like nothing, just empty before they slide them in. And you could see all the balconies on the edges and then just nothing. It was really bizarre. It was very, very cool.
Are they sliding them in furnished? Like the beds and stuff are in it?
I think.
Or is it just the shell?
Almost That's everything. Wild. Yeah, I think like the desk and stuff, they don't, as far as I know, they put everything in it and then slide it in because it's easier.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, probably not stuff like that's going to fall over like the phones and things, but probably the stuff is all there, like all the drawers and stuff. Very clever. They have worked it out. What is Tony's dream cruise? Total dream cruise, Tony. No, money is not. Does not.
Money
exist.
Is not an object. Like. I tell you what, I'm very fascinated by the world cruise. We were talking about it a little bit. A lot of the lines have put out these world cruises where you're going to touch most of the continents and you're going to go to all these amazing locations.
Yeah.
To me, the biggest appeal, like if you're trying to, there's a huge debate. Should you go travel? Should you fly to a location and be immersed in the culture? Doesn't cruising, lessen that a little bit? To me, cruising is one of the easiest ways to travel to a foreign country. So here in the United States, we're a big landmass with 50 states that you can travel from state to state without much effort. So, it was never important when I was a kid to get a passport because I'm not necessarily leaving. And
Yeah.
so for a lot of folks in the US, and not all folks, because there's some, people that are definitely adventurous, they're travelers, but for a lot of folks in the US, the idea of going to a foreign country is a weird thing.
Yeah.
And so I think cruising makes that really easy because there's a comfortability of like, I know where I can sleep, I know where I can eat, I know what I can do at night. And then
food.
for only like 4 hours or
Yeah.
6 hours or 8 hours, do I have to navigate a foreign land.
Mhm.
And so to me, that's one of the huge appeals of cruising. So my dream cruise would be to go like on one of those world cruises and to go to all those places from the comfort of a cruise ship. So yeah, and I've been talking to Jenny about this. We're both 50 years old right now, right? So sometime before I'm 60, I would love to do a world cruise. So whether
Yeah.
that be like on the milestone birthday 5 years from now at 55, I
Mhm.
really feel like we're the right age to take on that world adventure. So I think that's my dream cruise. But since I went to Asia, I've been very discontent with just going to the Caribbean. So I
Yeah.
was so excited to go. We came back from Asia and then everything shut down, but Asia really gave me the bug to like go other places.
Mhm.
And so I was excited to go to Alaska. I don't get off at a lot of the Caribbean ports because they don't appeal to me now. I've been trying to be better and like have an excursion. My daughters were on the last cruise with us. They drugged me out to the Mayan ruins where I almost
Yeah.
died. I didn't almost die, but I felt like I almost died. And
Mhm.
so I'm trying to do better about going and doing stuff, but it just doesn't grab me. Like after I was in Japan eating sushi next to a temple surrounded
Yeah.
by a throng of people trying to get into their culture, I don't know, it's not as appealing to me. And I love the Caribbean. Like I'm not, no knocks against the Caribbean. It's just I've
Yeah.
done that enough that I want to try something different.
Yeah. And also, I mean, like, for example, when I went to Singapore and all the places it's quite hard to visit them by myself on land and go from country to country. Would I go, I'm not going to drive or go on the train or anything like that. So it makes
Right.
it so much easier. But yeah, what type of cruise line would you do for a world cruise? Because I don't know what
like,
I would do.
I don't know which cruise line. I would have to look at them, but like I don't know if like Celebrity does a world cruise. I know that I like Princess. Princess is fine. I would do
Yeah.
a Princess cruise. Like I'm always, I'm at that spot where I'm always debating between Celebrity and Princess. I really like the vibe on Celebrity, but I feel like they're almost an equal product with just a different vibe.
Yeah.
I would love to do like a Celebrity world cruise if they have that, but again, I haven't tried Holland America yet. A lot of people have told me mixed things about Holland America. I would like to try
Yeah.
Hal. So it's just going to depend over the next few years who's offering. Royal's offering a world cruise, and I like Royal fine. So it'll be interesting. But who would you go on a world cruise with?
I think I would go, I really like the, Norwegian, Royal Caribbean and stuff. But I think if I was doing a world cruise, I would go for something more like Princess, something that's more, I don't know, it feels very like homely to me.
Yeah.
We're very comfortable in there. You don't say homely in the same way in the US, I don't
No,
think.
that means ugly for us.
No,
Homey.
not ugly, like comfortable and like a home.
We would say homey. Homey.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
homely is what we would say.
That's wild. Yeah, I was like,
Thank you
that's funny.
to Thank God for my super chat, who says number 1 and number 2 of my favorite cruise YouTubers. Not going to ask in which way around we are. Thank you for all that you do. When is your next group cruise, Tony?
Our next group cruise, I believe, is in February on the new Sky Princess, and that's going to be a Caribbean cruise. There's some parts of the Caribbean I haven't been to yet. I haven't been to the Southern Caribbean, to the ABC Islands.
Yeah.
I think one of our group cruises is going there, so that could be the one. But yeah, we've got the Sky Princess, which I can't wait to see the new ship, which is exciting.
That sounds good. That sounds awesome. Thank you, Joe, for my super chat. I was on the Sky Princess this year, so I can confirm she is lovely. Such a nice cruise ship. I was on a press trip with that one with my dad and various other journalists and writers and things. So I got to try everything and do everything. And it's just, yeah, the tech, the ordering the room service. You can just order a burger and cookies to your bed. It's amazing. It'd be so good. I'll try and answer this one. How does Princess compare to a cruise line like Norwegian or Royal Caribbean? I'd say it's much more grown up and kind of traditional rather than, you're not going to find all of the water slides and surf simulators and all of that stuff on Princess cruises. But Princess cruises are really nice. Their ships are really nice. They have loads of swimming pools, loads of space. It's calm. Entertainment's good.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I think that's a fair assessment. That's the way I always think of it. I think of Royal, Carnival, NCL, MSC as kind of one tier. And then as you move up another tier, and a lot of times you can get that second tier for the same price. Don't let the tiers make you think it's too expensive. But from a cruising, like kind of the way it feels, I feel like Celebrity and Princess are a different feeling than that tier below it. But it's I say everybody should try it. And they have good tea on Princess.
Yep.
So I learned all about tea this week. I feel pretty informed.
I know I had so many comments saying that you've settled this thing. I don't know. I had afternoon tea twice on my P&O cruise because they have a free one. They have a paid one too. Obviously, I went to the free one. It was a bit odd because normally you would go to afternoon tea and they would bring around sandwiches and they would bring around cakes and you would pick. But I guess because of COVID, they're just like, here you go. Here's all of them. Okay. And then whatever you don't eat, I guess, gets made into fish food. But
I did tea on Princess when I went to Alaska, and they were still bringing it around individually, like, so, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, not a problem having too much cake. It just meant that, there's some of them that if it has cinnamon on it, I'm never going to eat it. I hate cinnamon. So certain things just, no. But sandwiches, scones, tea, perfect. John says, why don't you try the smaller ships for a world cruise?
That'd probably be fun. I'm interested in Are you interested in expedition cruising at all? Like a
I would love to. I mean, it's not on my like immediate to look at list. Right. Too expensive.
Very pricey.
So many other places I haven't been to yet, but yeah.
Those ships look cool. I just like the way those Hurtigruten ships look, and those are very environmentally friendly. But I think it would be cool to be on a small ship like that and some sort of. I mean, I don't know how fun it would be to be a scientist. Like after 3 or 4 days, you're like, oh, am I really going to be taking a reading off of this instrument? Like I don't know how immersive it is, but it could be fun for a moment.
Yeah. Tristan and Justin say they can't wait for afternoon tea on Cunard in February, and I can. There's no afternoon tea quite like a Cunard afternoon tea. When I took my Cunard cruise, it was in this, it's like a ballroom where people dance and there's a string quartet and everyone comes around with the white gloves to hand you your sandwiches that are in little, triangle cucumber sandwiches and stuff. Yeah, nothing quite like it. Do you like afternoon tea? Cunard. And I think it was almost every day. So you get used to that extra meal. A question from John. Thank you for the super chat, John. Favorite meal with someone on a cruise from each of you? I want to go on a world tour. Want to see 2 baby elephants and a giraffe.
There you go. That would be kind of cool.
Favorite meal with someone. You got one?
Yeah, I mean, of course, my favorite meals with my lovely wife, Jenny B. We've had some great meals. The park, I can't remember what it is, park restaurant on the Oasis. But I've also had some cool meals. Like when I went on adventure, I did a chef's table. I've had chef's table with Don. Don and I've had some great meals. So Jenny B is always my first favorite meal. But I've had some interesting meals, interesting conversations with Don and some other creators along the way. So yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, the first one that comes to mind for me, but I know I have my mum and my dad watching in the chat, so I can't pick one with mum or dad. But me and mum did Animator's Palette on our Disney cruise, and it was unlike anything I've ever seen before. It was the best thing on our Disney cruise. And that was an interesting meal. And also with my dad on the Princess cruise, we had a really good meal when we just watched a movie and we ordered burgers and we ate them in the cabin. And I was in my princess onesie, and that was really nice. That was really good.
You just reminded me, one of the coolest meals that Jenny and I ever had together was the La Petite Chef experience. Celebrity. That was a cool meal. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that one, and I had seen online this. I didn't really know what it was. But my mum, I don't think she had any idea what was going to happen when we sat down in that restaurant. For those of you who don't know, it's like your dinner and a show all together in the evening. Everyone goes in, sits down, the lights go off, and the little man is projected onto your plate who, for ours, he scooped fish out of the sea and put it on your plate and chopped it up and cooked it and scooped ice cream to make snow. And, then your food arrives, and it's supposed to look exactly the same as what was animated for you. Bizarre, but funny.
A lot of sometimes people say, is specialty dining worth it? That one I definitely always recommend, because it is. I do feel like you get a great value for that, and it's so unique. Like, you're not going to really run into that anywhere else. So La Petite Chef's really cool.
Yeah, and it's more than food. It felt like a show, and it goes on for goes on for quite a while. John in here, I was telling Tony about your cruise, John. John has booked a back to back on Vista, and he's not joking. John really has. So John's booked, I think 30 something days, you said,
That's
John?
awesome. Yeah.
It sounds awesome. So
I like it, especially if you don't have to, especially if they let you keep the same cabin and you don't have to move your luggage around. I think that would be super cool. I think there's probably still some testing that'll happen, but I think they'll make that easy. So no, I would 100%, I would do it. Prices are good too right now in Carnival, so it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's a good time to cruise.
I want to. Where is that going, John? Is it going like the same thing over and over again?
Yeah, I wonder if that's a Western Caribbean, and then maybe the other part of it might be going to Nassau or something. I'm not sure, but yeah,
it sounds awesome no matter what it is. Very envious. Thank you for my super chat. I think there's a sticker there or something, but I can't see it. But thank you very much. We have a question from Mick, and he says, Emma, I enjoyed your recap on your Disney cruise. Would you ever consider another Disney cruise? And Tony, would you and Jenny consider doing a Disney cruise?
So this is the conversation I want to have with you, Emma. Like, I'm trying to refire up the podcast, and so this is my hypothesis. And there's some other people that we know in the community called Leg Life. And they love Disney cruising, but I believe that the only cruising that they've done is Disney cruising. So this is my hypothesis. You have to like Disney to really become a Disney cruiser. Like, I don't know. I haven't heard any of these stories out in the wild where somebody was like, oh, I love Royal Caribbean, and then they converted to Disney. So the question, would I ever try Disney? Yes, I will try Disney. It's not my favorite way to cruise. I've got to get a really good price on it. There's no casino on there, but I would do it for, like, I would nerd out like on a Star Wars or a Marvel. If I could do Star Wars at sea or Marvel at sea, but this is one that I don't want a lot of days. I just want like 3 days just to go see what it's like. But to me, it doesn't. I'm in my mind, and something's going to have to change my mind. I just don't feel like it's worth the money for me. But I feel like if you're already bought into the Disney ecosystem, like if you are a lifelong Disney fan, something like this, this is probably the best way to cruise. Like, this is probably the penultimate Disney experience if you're there. But I'm just not there. So I'll try it at some point. But I don't know if Jenny might try it. She might not. It might be one that I just sneak on and go, okay, we did Disney one time. Here's the videos. So.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I am at the minute. I like this comment from Matt from Royal Caribbean blog, Disney cruise.
Yeah, he's not.
But for me, I tried a Disney cruise to find out who a Disney cruise for. My conclusion is it's not really for me, and that's what I thought before I went on the cruise. It is very, very expensive, and everything was comparable to another cruise line. I'd always heard about, the service is great, the food is great. It was, but it also is on Royal Caribbean or Norwegian or, the other cruise lines. Of course, if you want that Disney-ness, you're never going to get that anywhere else. And to some people, that's worth so much money. For me, it's not. But never say never. It would be nice to do one in, their private island and stuff rather than from the UK. But not on my to-do list right now.
And it's an impressive company, right? So they have a limited amount of cruise ships. The new cruise ship is already 90% sold for its inaugural season. So they obviously have the right mix of supply and demand and Disney fans to fill up those ships. So I think Disney cruising is going to be around for a long time. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. And what's up, Matt? I think Matt and I are actually cruising together next week on the Odyssey. So I just figured that out through some sort of Facebook group. So maybe I'll see you on board, Matt.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just did a chat with the DCL Duo podcast, Disney Cruise Line podcast, because I spoke to them before I went on the cruise. And, when I booked it, they said, come back. And I said, of course. And what I love about them and their podcast is that they admit that other things are good. You know what I mean? They will say, because the shows were brilliant. The Tangled, the musical, it's the same as if you went to see Tangled, the musical in London or somewhere. It depends if that's what you want to watch. Sometimes I want to watch, more grown-up theatre shows than the Disney stuff. But
right.
There's somewhat, they know what they're doing. Just not for me. Not for me. That's good to know. Oh my goodness, we are nearly at an hour, Tony.
Oh wow,
I
feels
know.
quick.
The time goes so fast. I saw a question that says, Emma, are you going to cruise with Tony anytime soon? I would love to, yes. Depends if we get Tony to come this way or if I go over to the US. I need to cruise from the US again. I am looking at it, but no plans right at this second. I can come on the world cruise with you if that's all right.
Yeah, that'd be great. If you start to head this way, give us some heads up because it'd be cool to figure out a way to cruise together. And Jenny B is in the chat. I didn't realize that. I just saw her.
Oh,
what's up, my love?
I didn't see her. Hello. So many comments in there. Thank you so much, everybody. We've been hovering around 660 something live watchers. Most of the time I look, it's at 666, but make of that whatever. Tommy says, how do you think the pandemic has contributed to your success? Interesting. It's definitely changed things for us, hasn't it, Tony? Being in the cruise space with a closed cruise industry. But your cruise news, boom. I don't know where you were at the start. I mean, I've followed you for years, but yeah.
Yeah, it changed for me. And I didn't really anticipate the change. I've always been kind of happy-go-lucky, and the pandemic has allowed me to take on a different role, maybe a little bit of a processing of information, maybe a different kind of leadership role in the community. And I don't know that it was a role I was necessarily looking for, but it's been good. I've embraced it. That's kind of, where I'm at in my life. I try to step up wherever I can step up. And it's been nice to go cruising again because there's been a lot of validation of that from crew members and other people. But as far as the growth goes, you would think that the pandemic would have hurt us, but I think I've gained 68,000 subscribers in the last 365 days. So we more than doubled in size during the pandemic. And I wouldn't have anticipated that. But again, back to that question earlier in the show, no longer was I making, vlogs and cruise tips and stuff like that. I really was trying to stand out in front and try to process information and share it the best way that I could. And that was an evolution. That process was an evolution too, trying to figure out how to connect to people, with the news in a way that you're giving them good information and it's not just, crazy, to the next thing. But the other thing that I tried to do, and I've heard Tommy talk about it a little bit. I did try to carry the positive flame. I really tried to look for any positive signal. And certainly I was wrong throughout the whole thing a lot of times, but until, my philosophy is until it's canceled, until it's bad, then it's good. And, I feel like you can look at life in two ways. You could say life is bad and then I'm happy when it's good, or you can say that life is good and then I'll deal with it when it gets bad, right? Yeah. And so that's the way I took it. I'm like, okay, life is good, life is good, life is good. We got some bad news from the CDC. Okay, well, what's the next positive signal? Life is good, life is good. Okay, and then we got this. And I knew eventually that it would just be good. And so I think we're in that middle ground now. We're certainly cruising. It's a success story for cruising in the US. Cruises has restarted, cruising's back, baby, but we're not 100% there. And so continuing to hold this positive flame. All right, how does it get better? How do we get to the place where this COVID goes away heavily and we're back to cruising without testing and masks and stuff like that? We'll get there. But I do see that there's light at the end of the tunnel instead of, a dark cloud at the end of the tunnel. And so, I didn't know that's what my role would be, but that's what it became. And we've seen a lot of growth because of that.
Yeah, you didn't know that that's what the world needed, but it told you, and you fulfilled it every day, sometimes more than once a day. I have no idea how you do as much content as you do, but thankfully you do, because when you say things, then I believe it is true. Because all the time I get emails about, have you heard about, if Tony or Don hasn't said it, then I don't know.
And certainly I haven't been right 100% of the time. And I haven't always been perfect with the presentation, but it's been a process. And I think people have recognized that, and that's been good too.
Yeah, no, agreed. Thank you to Chuck for the super chat. I'm late, have to watch the replay. Love you both. That's okay. All of these chats, including the ones that I've done with Tony before, they're all there and available to watch. My ones with all various other people. I'm going to try and get Don.
They're organized by views, and so whoever's first is first. I don't care. It's okay.
This one may go higher. We've had quite a lot of viewers in here.
We can dream.
And I'll share this one around after the live stream. But I would like to get Don back again. But Don's off somewhere at the minute.
Don's on the Odyssey right now, so
yeah. So I'll try and catch him when he gets back. We have a super chat from Rocky. We're in our 70s and getting back to cruising, have done Princess the most in Royal Caribbean and Norwegian. Which line is the safest? As far as COVID safety goes, they've all been pretty much exactly the same when I've cruised this summer. Some of them are kind of increasing their capacity a bit faster than others, but I wouldn't really base your decision on which one is safest, especially if you're booking, you know, 6 months in advance. Who knows how things are going to be by then? Everything changes so fast.
Oh no, good.
I was just going to say the only cruise line that's been different for me this summer is Virgin, because we didn't have to wear masks on there, and I've had to wear masks on every other cruise ship.
Yeah, I mean, and at the end of the day, like every cruise line has some case count, right? So like there's no cruise line to point to that's had 0 cases, and so you know, it's like everything else in life. You have to measure that risk and you have to make that decision. So it's really hard to be prescriptive and say try this line or that line, because the reality is all lines are dealing with it. And you really have to lean into how you feel safe. You know, what decisions did you make? How do you feel the safest? That kind of thing. It's hard, but there's no magic cruise line out there that's avoided COVID. So you gotta keep that in mind as you're making your decision.
Yeah.
There's Don's family vacation. I just looked down. Look at that.
Oh, he was summoned. Hello, Don. We were talking about you just before you came in. Hello.
Right.
Tony, you'll love Odyssey. I'm sure you will. It sounds...
I've looked at a lot of video of it. It's almost exactly the same ship that we took to Asia. So it's the Spectrum of the Seas, essentially, without... it'll be interesting to see how it's different, but so many things that I loved about Spectrum are there. So I can't wait to get on it. Yeah.
Oh, you'll have such a good time. So envious. We have a question from Sarah, and it says, Tony, will you go back to doing cruise tips? You still do cruise tips. I've been watching your cabin, inside because I feel like I know inside cabins. So when other people talk about them, I'm checking out their tips.
What'd you think? Was it a good video? Did I hit that? Yeah. What was wild is I'd love to see that you had that alarm clock and that you've had it forever, because that I'm like, oh, good. Well, I feel like I've been blessed by the inside gods because I've recommended something that Emma's always used as an inside cabin.
Yeah, I've used them for years, and I have just bought someone one for Christmas. Like, that's how much I like them. So, yes. But yes, plenty of cruise tips from Tony, cruise tips from me. Everything's ramping up now. It feels optimistic at the minute. People are planning, at least. People are cruising again. So, yeah, it feels good.
I was gonna say the fortunate thing for us now is that we are established, and so now I really can live in that space. That as long as it's cruising, I think people will watch it. Some things are watched more than others, and so I'll continue. We'll do cruise tips and live shows, and I think there's space for all of that for us now. But again, if I could have talked to us when we started, I would have been like, just focus on one thing.
Agreed. Yeah, it's a bit different when people want to know your opinion on things, Tony's opinion on things. And when you start out, no one knew who Emma was or who Tony is. And you just keep at it. It has nearly been an hour, Tony. I cannot believe it. And I say that every single week. Is there anything you would like to say to the internet, to my parents in here, to Don, to everyone who's watching?
Well, I continue to say it. Don is my people. You're my people. I can't wait to meet you in real life. And so I'll continue to say it to your parents and your grandmother. You guys have done a great job. You've raised such a solid person. And we're really glad to know Emma. You add a great perspective to the cruising community. Don, the only thing I want to say to Don is don't go back to Canada. Book another 5 days on the Odyssey so that we can hang out. It's easy to do. I know you can do it. You're right there on the cruise ship anyways. And then to the broader community, thank you guys for showing up for this. Thanks for all the support that you give us, that you give Emma, that you give Don, that you give all your favorite creators out there. Because the true reality is, if you guys didn't watch the shows, if you didn't comment, if you didn't like these videos, our lives wouldn't have changed. So, I mean, YouTube's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Everything I've learned in my life has converged into what I do now. And a big component is the fact that you guys watch these shows. So thank you so much for watching these shows. And thank you guys for showing up every time that we come to hang out. And then the final thing that I want to say is check on Emma's page almost on a daily basis. And if my picture does not move to the first spot on the live streams, then you need to watch this show again. You could even go watch the other ones that I did. I would like to see me at 1, 2, and 3. I'm not asking for much. Just watch the show. It's good stuff. But I'll be checking, and if it doesn't happen, I'm coming to all your houses. That's all I got to say.
Okay. I don't know if Don is aware of this the fight that's happening in my playlist, but
Don doesn't care. Don doesn't care that he's in
no.
front. He's not very competitive at all. I did beat him at Buzz Lightyear's shooting up game in Shanghai Disney. That's the only thing I've ever beat him at, so I'm holding on to that. How about that?
That sounds awesome. Well, thank you so much to everybody who's in here. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your really nice messages. It's really nice to catch up with you, Tony. I know we talk all the time, but we've been pretty busy. So it's nice to sit down and have a proper conversation. Thank
Absolutely.
you to everybody who is in here. I'll be back normal time next week, and you'll see us all over the internet because we are everywhere. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
See you on the Lido.